Welcome to Evolve Yourself TV. I am Agni James, the one, the only one. I am the only one. There are no more of me. All right. How does that make you feel? It makes me feel partially grateful because I wouldn't want there to be more of me. I think I'm enough for the world. I really think I am enough. The world has encountered Agni James. It knows what Agni James is all about now. Well, at least they think they know what I'm about. Some people do, some people don't. Half the world likes me, the other half really likes me. So, what kind of deal is that? Give me 1 second. See this? This is a great book. This is Plato's Complete Works, all right? This is a solid read, right? Now, you know what I use this for, since I'm a philosopher? To prop up my mic stand. Welcome to Philosophy World, everyone. All right, what do we got going on here? Yeah, ignorant. Yeah, I saw you earlier, man. Dude, easy on the caps, dude, or I'm going to have to ban you. I don't care that you're a mod, dude. Easy on the caps. Ignorant, man. Hey, Christine the Bean, you are here. Thank you so much for the subscription. 31 months in a row? Damn. Have I been streaming that long? Holy shit. Dude, you are a trooper. That's a long time, Christine the Bean. I don't even know what to say. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste, gratitude, love, peace, kindness. You know, like, I don't know. Thank you. You've been here. You've been here supporting me this whole fucking time. You could have said, Agni, fuck off, man. You could have said, Agni, fuck off. I don't ever want to see you. You know, you're not the kind of person I want to associate with. But no, you're like, no, I'm just going to be a good human fucking being, you know, and you know, promote acupuncture and help save people's fucking existences. And it's like such a blessing to have you in my world. So thank you so much. And then let's see what else is going on. We got Liquid Stealth. Hey, good to see you, friend. How you been, man? What's new? I think you said in Discord you were driving, right? So yeah, I don't expect you to type too much. You know, don't put your safety, you know, in front of, like, you know, or wait, don't put your safety at risk because you're watching the stream, right? Just kind of, you know, wait till you get to somewhere where it's like safe and you can hang out or whatever. That would be like the worst thing if you got like in an accident because you were like spamming emotes or something in my chat, right? Yeah. But anyways, I feel really happy today. I had a horrible fucking day. I was miserable. And I went to this new yoga studio that I've been going to, and I had like the most fucking amazing rejuvenative. That's not even I can't even talk. Rejuve. Blah 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 blah. I had one of the blah 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 blah. I had one of those, and it was amazing. I had such a phenomenal yoga class. In all seriousness, Rising Loda Healing Center, and they call it a healing center for a reason. Can anyone guess? Can anyone in chat guess? Ignorant? You're always up to guess. Like, what's your opinion? Why would they call it a healing center, man? Why would they call it a healing center, huh? I'm always curious about your take on things, you know? You know, like, why would they call it a healing center? Oh, really? Really? You think this is a funny fucking deal? Dude. I'm gonna fucking time this guy out, man. I'm sick of ignorant, dude. He's just fucking, yeah. There we go. How do you like that, huh? How do you like that, man? You were timed out for 600 seconds. 600. It takes a lot, but first you started with the caps. JT Farms usurping my authority. Removing the timeout on ignorant. All right. Fair enough. That is fair enough. Okay? That is fair enough. Whoa, JT Farms. I don't know. If I had an ego right now, let me tell you, I would, I don't know. I don't know where this would be going. If I had an ego right now, but apparently I don't because I'm a yogi. I'm a yogi, right? So and yogis don't have egos, right? But anyways, Yeah, you removed the timeout for him, man. Well, good for you. Good for you. That's intense. That's an intense move. That's like a wait. That's interesting because in my chat window, it's not showing. Oh, there it is. It's on the main chat that his faces, his LOLs are showing up. Hey, thank you, Peachy Boy. Thank you, Peachy Boy, for the follow. Welcome in. My name is Agni James. I'm a yogi. All right. I'm a yogi. I'm a guided meditation instructor. Do you play chess? If you do, I'm a chess instructor in real life. That's what I do for a living. That's how I survive. I teach chess. I play competitively. I also am big into heavy metal. And what else do I do? Oh yeah, and I have a master's in philosophy. So we do philosophy stuff. You say I look hot, but my beard. Yeah, I don't know. I get mixed opinions about my beard. Very mixed opinions, right? I feel like I'm hot. Right? I mean, everyone always tells me I'm hot, but sometimes they don't like the beard, right? Like, what if it was just like this? Would you think I'd look better? See, you don't prefer it, right? JT, what do you think? Do you think I should get rid of it? So this would be better, like this? How's this look? Like better? All right. Maybe I'll have to do this. Maybe I'll just cut it off then. All right, we'll take a vote. Maybe we should take a vote. All right, we're gonna do a vote. We're going to do a vote. Okay, we're going to vote. Here we go. Oh, wait a second. You say, like, put me on the wall and... Yeah, no, that's not cool. that's like too much, man. I'm in like yogi heaven right now. I'm in yogi heaven. JT, you better watch this. You better watch this guy or girl. What do you identify as? A guy or a girl? You better watch out. I already timed someone out, and guess what? JT brought him back. Do you identify as a guy or a girl? I'm always interested. In the guys and gals. Anyways, welcome in. Do you have any interest in guided meditation? Have you ever meditated in your life? Or have you ever played chess? Do you play chess? You are a boy, a peachy boy who likes eggplant. Okay, well, when you make eggplant, do you make it with love and kindness, or do you angry cook? Because I'm big into angry cooking. I'll get really angry, and I'll just like take all the food around, and I'll just like throw it in a big crock pot, and I'll scream at it as much as I can. Top of my lungs, I'll scream at my food, and then it tastes better. For some reason, I feel like if I can just get my food, like take all my anger out of my food, and then eat it, like it just tastes better. Now, what's your deal? Do you make your food with love, or do you make your food with hate? Okay, we're getting a little ridiculous. By the way, also, if you haven't noticed, I'm into absurdist humor. All right, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, we're gonna do a guided meditation tonight. In all seriousness, that is the focal point of this channel. All right, you come to this channel, we're gonna go into a place of perfect oneness. And, like all trolling aside, I will not be debated. I refuse to be debated, all right? Yeah, like, no, all trolling aside, yeah, we actually do care about meditation in here. We care about chess. We care about philosophy. Are you into heavy metal? Do you like metal? What's your favorite metal band? Are you ready to come to Chicago? You come to Chicago, I'll take you to a metal show on Wednesday. I'm going to a metal show with my best friend on Wednesday, all right? You going to come with me? You going to come to the metal show with me or what? All right, we're getting a little off track here. But anyways, what were we talking about? You do like the beard shorter. All right, that's fair. That's your opinion, That's your opinion. I think JT I think likes it longer. Liquid Stealth, I've never asked you your opinion. Yeah, I don't know. Ignorant, what do you think, man? You can talk again, by the way. I think you said you liked it longer or whatever. All right, so what are we going to do tonight? What are we going to do? I'm kind of in this absurdist mood, but I think we should just get to meditation because that's always the main crux of this channel. We want to go down deep into the source of creation. I'm not talking about dualistic creation. I'm talking about monism, man. I'm talking about pure oneness, all right? Peachy Boy, you got it? Do you understand what pure oneness is? Because that's where we're going. We're going to take a journey into pure oneness. Are you along for the ride? Well, that's for you to guess. That's for you to guess. And JT, I like how JT, by the way, regulates the energy in here. So you got to be on her good side. You got to be on her good side. See, everyone, yeah. JT, you gotta help him. Neither. You would never guess what my sign is. You would never fucking guess in a million years. The way I'm fucking acting, you would never guess in a million years. Well, what isn't this the age of Aquarius or something like that? I've like heard that, or was that some song from the '60s? You would never guess. You're not like you could go through every sign. You would go through every fucking sign, and you still wouldn't guess correctly. All right, that's what Agni is. Do you know what Agni means in Hindi? In Hindi, Agni means fire. Son of Brahma, king of the fire gods, empowered by Taki, whose supreme wisdom burns all delusion. So as a philosopher, my role is to come around and basically say, hey, this reality we live in, this spatial temporal realm, it's not capital T truth. From my perspective, from my metaphysics, and I would never push my metaphysics on anyone. See, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. No, you have not guessed. You have not guessed it right, man. You're not. He's not getting it. JT, he's not getting it. He doesn't know. He has no idea what my sign is. Look at this. Still, you have not guessed it correctly. I mean, I think he's done every sign. Hey, this is on you, man. And now because you've guessed so many, I'm not going to tell you. Because you've guessed so many, it's just too many. By the way, use the boom command to if you want to like get things moving. I got the boom command enabled. All right, just type !boom, and you can see like cool stuff like this happen. All right. Okay. Anyways, So I take people on a journey into the source of creation, the place of pure oneness, the place of love and joy and kindness, right? And then they feel better about themselves. Like what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Do you like people feeling better about themselves? JT. Yeah, it's like, I mean, if you guess every one, eventually you might hit it. You know, I think is he getting closer? I don't know, but I mean, he's guessed a lot, and he still is yet to even. I'm not going to tell him now because, like, I am personally insulted. You've guessed a lot of fucking signs. You've guessed a lot of signs, and it's like not even. Yeah, this is fucking sad, man. Like you don't know your tarot, or you're not tarot. You don't know your astrology and all your signs, right? All right, okay, anyways. So yeah, I always come out here and I'm intense and I'm fucking ready to go and I'm like feeling all excited right now. I'm pumped and I'm like ready to like go mosh, right? And we have a lot of energy and intensity and everything's like really fucking wild and crazy. And like we're ready to fucking fight and then we slow things down. And come to the place of peace, love, and kindness, residing in our hearts. Find a comfortable seated position. You can sit on the floor in lotus pose. You can sit cross-legged. Or you can sit in a chair. The main thing is to find a position that is comfortable for you. And then gently close your eyes. And take a few slow, deep breaths on your own. I have a Buddhist chant that I play that has a chime that rings every 2 seconds. And you can use it to help regulate your breath count. So take a few more slow and deep breaths on your own while maintaining good posture. Inhale through your nose, gently raising your belly. Exhale through your mouth, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in through your nose, slowly raising your abdomen. Breathe out through your mouth, slowly lowering your abdomen. Stay focused on your breath. Inhale, raising your belly. Exhale, lowering your belly. Breathe in, raising your abdomen. Breathe out, lowering your abdomen. Keep your awareness on your breath count. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Your breath calms your body, and your body calms your mind. Be mindful of your breath count.
Visualize yourself sitting on the tallest mountain peak. Watching the clouds float through the sky beneath you. Two clouds merge together as one. And one cloud stretches apart, dividing into two. These clouds float through the sky before disappearing over the horizon. These clouds are like your thoughts. Thoughts come into being and exist for a while in conscious awareness before disappearing from your mind. That is the nature of human thought. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that does not serve you well. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all that is of no benefit to you. Stay focused on your breathing. As thoughts arise in your mind, release them and return to your breath. On your next breath, travel down beneath the level of conscious awareness. Focus your attention on your heart center. Experience the love emanating from this location. And the warmth which surrounds this love. Give yourself permission to feel the perfect peace residing here. And the joy which accompanies it. In this location, you exist in a state of perfect monism. Releasing all dualistic thoughts. Separation of any kind cannot exist here. For that which is eternally whole can never be divided. Opposites of any kind cannot enter this space. For that which is eternally one can have no opposites. Fear of any kind is not welcome here. For that which is created fearless can have no fear. In this place, only perfect love remains. And this place is your eternal home. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that does not serve you well. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing any stress and tension from your body. You deserve this perfect love. Stay focused on your breath. On your next breath, visualize positive chi energy flowing in through your nose. It's golden light, healing and nourishing every cell in your body. And as you exhale, visualize any toxins and stress being released through your mouth. So that with each breath cycle, you are complete, nourished, and whole once again. Stay focused on your breathing. Stay focused on your breath. Stay true to your breathing. Keep your attention on your breath count. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that is of no benefit to you. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all ego, which obstructs your third eye vision. Stay diligent in this practice. Your essence is love. Your love is manifested in this worldly existence through the kind acts you share with others. Your purpose here is to be kind to those around you. Forgiving all, every situation, and yourself. I guarantee that you are worthy of perfect love. Speaking from the place of truth, you are this love. Any voice that tells you that you are something else, is the voice of the ego. The ego is rooted in separation. And therefore cannot survive in oneness. So it uses what little power it has to make you afraid. and to make you feel as if you are alone. Luckily, nothing the ego says is truthful. And if you but release it for a second, you will remember that. Your essence is perfect love. And you flow eternally from the source of all creation. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that is of no benefit to you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relinquish all ego that obstructs your third eye vision. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that would keep you slave here. Breathe in. Breathe out, experiencing what it's like to be free. Focus on your breath count. On your next breath, travel down beneath the level of consciousness. To the place situated 2 inches below your navel. This is called the Dantian Energy Center. And in this location, your essence flows the strongest. Focus on your Dantian. Observing any sensations you feel here. For here, you remember who you truly are. This place is your center point. Focus on your center. Letting go of this dualistic framework. Focus on your center point. And when you're ready, travel through. I'll see you on the other side. Here, at your center point, true nature unfolds. As you gently remember who you really are. An eternal being existing beyond space-time. Flowing forever from the source of all creation. In this perfect place, you are filled with love and joy. And you cannot help but extend this joy to all those whom you encounter. For when you look at them in their eyes, you see your perfect reflection. Focusing deep on your center. Everything else begins to fade away. In joyful gratitude, you give riddance to the ego. As split perception is replaced by perfect oneness. You remember now who you truly are. Being one with God and all His glory. A reflection of the divine itself. Existing everywhere and immutable. Helping others reclaim their inheritance. You gently remind them who they are. And as we all reunite in that place of perfect oneness, all that is not that oneness disappears forever. Awaken from the dream. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all stress and tension from the body. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all stress and tension from your mind. Inhale. Exhale, releasing any residual bondage from your being. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all fear eternally. Gently open your eyes and return to this corporeal vessel, bringing with you the love of yourself to share with all those whom you encounter. Namaste. Thank you all so much for sharing this sacred space with me. I am truly honored and humbled to be here with you as your meditation guide. I know you each got some peace and love out of this meditation. Whether you feel more stable and centered, whether you feel more kind and compassionate, whether you feel more loving and forgiving, whether you feel like not as much of an asshole. Whatever it is that you got out of this meditation, I am so grateful that I was able to serve you in that capacity. Thank you so much for being here with me. May all your days be filled with the perfect love and light that I see within you, so that you may feel peace when you are confronted with challenging situations, so that you may never feel distraught again, so that you may always come back to this place of perfect oneness. Is it easy to remember? Fuck no. Is it possible? It's worth a try. When all the world is burning down around you, give peace a chance. Namaste. All right. Let's see. That was a 43-minute meditation. How was that for everyone? I know I feel really good after that meditation. But then again, I felt really amazing going into that meditation because I just came from an amazing, beautiful yoga studio named Rising Lotus Healing Center. And I had an incredible Hatha yoga flow class. So I guess my judgment, my evaluation of this meditation is biased because of that. Let's see. Liquid Stealth, you say the Amitabha chant went away. You're not sure if I did that intentionally or if you weren't aware that it stopped playing. That was an intentional move. That was an intentional move. You just witnessed history. So the question one may ask oneself, is why did I, at the end of the meditation, slowly fade out the Amitabha Buddhist chant. Why did I do that? I'm like a magician. I don't reveal my secrets. or like an author, right? Who doesn't spell out what their book means, right? Or like a musician who doesn't tell you what the lyrics mean, right? Or an artist who doesn't tell you what her painting means, right? JT, you say it was a good move. Yeah, I felt it was appropriate. So there was a line that one of my favorite chess streamers uses, and he says in certain games, in certain moments, he'll say, in the spirit of the position, I'm gonna play G4, or I'm gonna play knight to E5, right? Some move, right? He says, but he says in the spirit of the position. So I've taken that and generalized it to more contextual situations within my life. And sometimes in the spirit of the position, it's important to act freely and to have these intentional acts where you do something. So this was in the spirit of the position, and that's why I removed the Amitabha Buddhist chant in this particular meditation. History was made. Okay, a few things to note. Housekeeping. Let's see. We had a follow. We had Siempre Viva Party. Thank you so much for the follow. Much appreciated. My name is Agni James, but that's not really important. What's really important is my true name, and that is the same name that everyone has. You know, we're all one. So Agni James is just an X. It's an X. Your name is a Y. The next person's name is a Z, right? They're just placeholders. They're placeholders for perception, right? As long as we have perception within this dualistic framework, we need placeholders, or else, you know, our bodies aren't going to eat, and we're not going to be smooth. So yeah, it's my temporary name that I gave myself, or was given to me, you could say, right? It's not important. This channel, it does something important, and this corporeal vessel, the spirit within this corporeal vessel, does something important. And I show other people that despite living in a mad, insane existence, this place, this illusory dualistic framework, at any given moment we have the ability to calm ourselves and not have a heart attack, not go off the deep end when our family members get political and are acting all crazy, or you know, our friends do weird, crazy shit. That we have the ability to focus on our breathing and to be at peace. And then we can act accordingly. We can act according to the principles of logic. It's kind of like a Noger. I don't know if you're around, but you work a lot. But if you're around, I don't know how much Spinoza you've read in your life, but it's kind of like what his philosophy. He believes we only act freely when we act according to rational principles, when we use the logic and reason to make our decisions. And within this dualistic framework, this is kind of like a spin-off of Spinoza, right? I just took us for a little spin-off Spinoza. So yeah, you know, that's what this channel is about. We bring others peace and love, and I also am a chess instructor, IRL, right? So we do chess streams. I have a master's in philosophy, so you know, every once in a while, not as much anymore, but every once in a while I do analytic philosophy. You know, I mean, I guess you could say that a lot of the philosophy in my meditations is philosophy, but it's not the kind you learn at school. You know, it's more esoteric, and you know, it's more, or maybe more continental-ish, or maybe just Eastern. I guess Eastern is a better way of putting it than continental even. But anyways, yeah. Thank you all. Christine the Bean, thank you so much for that subscription. Much appreciated to you. Let's see. JT, I need to connect with you again. Our conversation that we had the other day, by the way, I know you said it was helpful for you. I know that you said it was helpful for you, but it was damn helpful for me too. All right? First of all, you shared some things with me that you never have shared. I didn't know that about your cousin, that you and your cousin are that tight, and that you guys were, grew up, you're born in the same house, right? You said, and you guys, grew up, and you're still like this, and you meet up, and you guys are that tight. I didn't know that, and that's important. I didn't know you had someone like that, in your existence, that you had that kind of energy bond. I know you have Mark, right? Obviously, but I didn't know you had like that real tight best friend person, who's there with you. And also, a lot of the things that you told me in our conversation are very similar to things that I've been going through and experiencing, and they've definitely been helpful. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm really, really grateful for you helping me break through some ego and some things in my life that were a little toxic to me. So I'm grateful to you. You said tears and joy, Agni James. That's all. I love it all. I'm here, and JT, I'm always here for you. You're always going to be someone dear to my heart. I have your fire quartz with me. There's a reason why I hold this during meditations, and I wear your mala. Thank you. And then Christine the Bean, you say, feeling refreshed. Wonderful. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you're feeling refreshed. You deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. You're such a beautiful, wonderful human being. I appreciate you so much. Real quick, I just want to say something, because this is kind of personal. But Christine's an acupuncturist, and my aunt and my uncle, were sick for many years, and my aunt was really in bad shape, and Christine would go over there and do acupuncture on my aunt, and I am certain that she helped my aunt live a couple more years, and it was amazing, and increased the quality of my aunt's life. That's fucking sainthood, Christine. The fact that you went over there and helped my family. I mean, that's something that's never going to be forgotten. Not by my aunt, not by my uncle, not by Ricky, not by me, not by any of my family, not by anyone. I mean, you are truly a healer. And if anyone's in the Chicago area, hit up Christine the Bean. DM her directly. She is the best acupuncturist I have ever had. She even studied in China and is incredibly legit. And I've had acupuncture from numerous different people in my life, and she is a pro. She's a professional. So yeah, hit her up if you want some acupuncture. Okay, here we go. What else do we have here? We have, is the Supreme Court the moral authority of the nation? That's a good question. Hey, I've been seeing you hanging out in Aristotle's chat. I've been seeing you hanging out there, man. How's or woman? Like, by the way, what's your preferred pronoun? What's your preferred pronoun? Yeah, Eris is one of my brothers. Like Eris and Noger, I didn't know there were. So this is like an interesting story. When I first started streaming, this was supposed to be an analytic philosophy stream. How crazy is that? Like, I literally was I have a master's in analytic philosophy, and I was coming on here, and I was talking about necessary and sufficient conditions that must be satisfied in order for X to be the case, right? And that was going to be it. My favorite areas of philosophy are philosophy of mind, metaphysics, and philosophy of science. I love those areas. I also dig philosophy of language. I studied under a brilliant professor, MIT professor named Lenny Clapp. Learned a lot from him. There's a just the notion of disagreement has fascinated me my whole life. I have a very sparse ontology myself, so learning the toolkit of analytic philosophy was enabled me to put into words all the different ideas I had, and it was really cool because like I was like, oh my god, I have all these original ideas, right? And then like I entered graduate school, and then one by one, I learned that someone else already had that idea. And sometimes it was like 1,000 years ago. But then, like, as I got more familiar with the literature and everything, I eventually, started coming up with ideas that people only had 20 years ago. And then ideas that people only had like, a couple of years ago, right? And then I even came up with, some smaller points that were totally original. Yay, I did something original in my life. I came up with some novel objections to Colin McGinn and his cognitive closure arguments. Okay, there we go. Agni James did it. Those of you who don't know Colin McGinn, his cognitive closure arguments are not coherent, and I can tell you why. And I wrote some stuff about it. But anyways, yeah. So that's how it goes. Everyone thinks they have original ideas. Then you enter grad school for philosophy, and you realize most of the shit that you thought was an original idea has already been articulated by someone else. But anyways, getting back to your question, you said, is the Supreme Court authority of the nation? That's a very good question. In my grad program, it was pure analytic philosophy, and we did not have any political philosophy. There was no political philosophy whatsoever that was contained in my program. And I loaded up on philosophy of science, philosophy of mind, and metaphysics. All right, so I'm not the person to answer that question. I could just tell you, a few quick thoughts about it, but I'm definitely not the person to answer that question. I admit my ignorance, all the time. That's one thing that philosophers do, or at least they're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to admit our ignorance, and when we don't know something, we're supposed to say it, right? That's one of the whole things about philosophy, Socrates, right? Admit your ignorance, right? Know that you know nothing. But then some other philosopher came along, maybe like 500 years later, and he one upped Socrates, and said, I don't even know if I know anything, right? Because Socrates was like, I don't know anything, and then this guy's like, dude, Socrates, how can you be so certain that you don't know anything? This guy's like, I don't even know if I know anything, right? So like, he one up Socrates. I thought that was pretty clever. But anyways, should the Supreme Court be authority of the nation? Who's the fucking say, man? Who's to say? And I don't know what you're. Bro, you're a dude, bro. Okay, who's to say, bro? I don't know. I have no conception about politics. Like, my understanding of politics is very limited. I mean, if it was up to me, Marianne Williamson would be president of the United States. All right, so like, what the fuck do I know? I do know that they did try putting a philosopher in a position of power, like governed a part of Canada for some time, and it was a total disaster because he wasn't corrupt and like couldn't didn't take sides and wasn't getting anything done, and like it was like a complete debacle. But that was the experiment of putting a philosopher in charge. I mean, the last philosopher king, Marcus Aurelius, right? He was the last philosopher king, and then they're like, yeah, we're done with letting philosophers lead. We're gonna put corrupt people who are selfish and have many different crazy agendas that are gonna try to improve their own careers and what that we're gonna make the worst people out there, and we're gonna put them in charge, right? And that's what they do. You might as well fucking have Charles Manson be president, right? If he was still alive, you might as well have anyone. I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but like at the same time, like I do that. At times, anyways, yeah. So let's see. Should a Supreme Court judge accept bribes? No, hell no. I don't think that's fucking I don't think they should do that. But then again, what do I know, right? What do I know? For all but as far as, and by the way, when you say that, well, we're talking about this dualistic framework. My ontology is so sparse that the only thing that I even hold that exists within this dualistic framework are actually the people in it. So like just just the minds of the people, not even the bodies. And when I say exists, I mean from the context of eternity, from like that place of like of pure oneness looking down. I think this was just like a fucking dream, popped in and out of existence, and we're experiencing it through dualistic perception, but eventually it's just going to disappear, and none of this will be remembered except the loving, kind things we do for one another, because that's what our nature is, and we're just extensions of that. So, like, because of that, well, when I get to a question like, should a Supreme Court judge accept bribes? I would say within this illusion, no, right? Just like we should try to, do the things we can to help others, because they're loving. We shouldn't accept bribes because that's corrupt and whatnot. We want to try to be as loving and kind, and we want to make things work, obviously, because we need to feed people, right? People need to eat here. While we're here in this place, we need to like eat, because it sucks if you're hungry. It sucks if you're some kid born in a poor part of Africa and you have don't have enough. You eat 1 grain of rice a day and you have mosquitoes crawling on your eyeballs like all day. That sucks, right? Like, and you have like malaria, like that's not a good existence, right? So obviously, we want to try to do things to alleviate suffering if we can, if that's even possible, if we know how, right? And I think overall we have some idea, some conception of how to do that, and we want to do things to try to maximize joy and love and peace for everyone, and that's what I do here, at least. That's the goal of this channel. Okay. You say, why are the loving, kind things remembered, but not the terrible acts? Because of that's just my metaphysical stance. And I will be the first to tell you can hold whatever metaphysical beliefs you want. And I'm not going to try to, come out here and convince anyone, of any religion or any philosophy or anything like that. I'm just here to try to bring peace. That's my whole purpose. So my metaphysics holds that the only thing that exists in reality is pure love, is that state of oneness. And because that is the case, we're living right now perceptually in a spatial temporal realm, right? Where things can move and change and disappear and come into being and come out of being, right? But since I hold that the only thing that actually that's ontological status is actually valid, is actually true, is that those things which are unchangeable, those things which are perfect love, perfect oneness, those things that exist everywhere all at once, those things that are perfectly whole, because those are my metaphysical beliefs, right? Which I'm not saying are right. I'm not going to push them on you. Would never do that, but that's just because that's what I hold. Then any hostile acts or any acts of aggression or terrible acts, like you say, are not going to be remembered, because once the spatial temporal realm collapses, once perception comes back to that state of perfect oneness, it's just this whole realm is just gone. But loving things are they transcend this realm, because they're still there. There's that state of oneness is still always there, but it's like we went to sleep, right? That's the view that I personally hold, right? So it's like we're in a dream state, experiencing this experience of what it's like to be separated from the whole, but it's impossible to be separated from the whole. So we just went to sleep and like are dreaming this dream. And just like when you woke up from your dream you had last night, you woke up and you're like, whoa, that was a fucked up dream, right? Or whatever. Or whoa, that was a weird dream. And then you just forgot about it and went on with your day. Same thing is going to happen with this whole realm, except the things that are in congruence with the things that are actually true, like love and perfect oneness and perfect peace. Those things, they stick around. They stick around because they're true in my metaphysics, But yeah, everyone can believe what they want. Let's see. You said what's the disconnect? Are all acts remembered? No. So you say so some acts are ignored. In this reality, while we're still beings perceiving everything, while we're still perceiving everything, I believe that things are not ignored. Like if a Supreme Court justice takes a bribe, that's not definitely not ignored by like the population, right? And I don't believe that's like the right course of action. And I would never say like don't defend yourself if someone attacks your body, right? I'm the first. I'm from Chicago. I'm from Chicago, right? I'm from a very violent place where people get murdered all the time. We have guns are big in Chicago, and there people are getting shot all the time. It's crazy. It's like a fucking war zone here. So I'm the first to say you defend your body, right? But my main point is that, if someone attacks you, you defend yourself, but at the same time, you can still feel feelings of love and peace for them. Like, and maybe not in that moment, right? Like if someone comes up to me and punches me in the face, my animal primitive instincts are going to be triggered, and I'm going to try to restrain that fucking person, hopefully not hurt them too bad, but like restrain them, right? I've been in a lot of fights in my life. But after the case, I'm going to try to forgive them and let them go and let go of those things, because I believe that since we're all oneness, since we're all part of that same oneness, by holding on to any grudge against another, you're actually holding on to a grudge against yourself, and it kind of binds you to them. It imprisons us here. And I'm all about freedom. Okay, let's see. So you say, what about rock? Is rock an empirical idea that a rock over there is a rock? Yeah, I don't believe in any matter. My ontology is so fucking sparse that I don't even believe in energy. How intense is that? How intense is that? I just believe in pure thought, and I believe there's no energy. That everything is just pure thought. Like it's like idealism to the max. I guess you could say, a form of idealism to the max, except I do allow for bodies. I'm not going to go the solipsist route and be like, oh, I am the only thing that exists here, right? If you're a solipsist, you're a dick, all right? You don't have many friends, and you piss everyone off, and you end up in jail a lot of times. So I'm not going to go that route, right? But I do. So I allow for the minds of all the individuals on this planet, but I don't allow for I don't believe the ontological status of rocks is anything more than the ontological status of, Pegasus, right? They have the same status. They're just placeholders. They exist temporarily within the spatial temporal realm, but once it collapses and is forgotten, they'll cease to exist. Let's see. You said I thought you identified as a transient being that. The only actions that matter are good acts. Yeah, well, not good, but because when you have good, like when you have good and when you have evil, the whole notion, and that's where I think Western philosophy went wrong. I think the Eastern philosophy is a little bit better at articulating that concept, right? Of morality, right? When they say like things just are, something just is, right? So like I don't adhere to the notion of good and evil, because those are opposites. That's part of the dualism, right? It's part of the dualistic framework, right? So on this, there's the two levels, right? We have the perceptual dualistic level, and then we have the real level that exists foundationally, which is oneness, right? So here we're in this dream state, and we're all walking around thinking we're in separate bodies, going about our days, going to work, getting scratches on our fucking cars, trying to, get food, trying to get married, whatever the fuck we're doing, right? Doing things like that, right? But I don't believe there is something that is, that is good. I just believe that there are actions that are in alignment with pure love, that are in alignment with truth, and that truth transcends all of this. So like it's like no matter how hard perception and the ego try to fight for their lives, because the ego once we all remember we're all one. My view is that the ego mind will collapse, and we're just going to be back in our state again of perfect oneness. And we'll be like, oh yeah, that was a weird dream we just had, of like bodies moving around and conflict and everything. That was weird. Oh, all right, well, whatever. Let's go back to being perfect oneness in God, where we are God, that kind of deal, right? And nothing I'm saying is new. It's just been around. People have been saying it in different forms for centuries. This is just my take, my personal view. You said, so I am Hitler? No, I don't think I'm Hitler, because I believe all people have intrinsic value and all people are worthy of love and perfection, and that we should be kind and loving to everyone. So you said you thought we are all one. Yeah, but everyone, including the Jews and the Catholics, we're all one, right? So here's the thing about my metaphysics: everyone's included, everyone is here and is together, or we're all separate. Even if one single person maintains any kind of separation or distance from the whole, you don't have a whole, right? Even though it's only perceptual, it's only like a magician's sleight of hand. It's an illusion to begin with. We still need to get everyone on board. We still need to have everyone reunited as one mind, as one being, perceptually, in order for that bubble to collapse. My metaphysics. So free will. Then we're going off into free will. Can you make a decision, or is your life predetermined? I believe that within the context of oneness, everything is. That's a good question. That's a really fucking good question. I'm going to say I don't know enough about it to know for certain. I think that's a salient question right there. That's a badass question. And thank you for sharing that question, because I don't know. That's a really, really good question. If it is and we could phrase it as we would in analytic philosophy, if it is the case that our ontological status is as such that we are all one and one being, does free will exist? Or you go the freedom route. Does freedom exist? If you want to go over that subtle distinction, right? I don't know. I would like to hold that there is such a thing as free will within the state of oneness. But maybe the free will is only to go to sleep and to perceive ourselves in a state of duality, right? Maybe. But that's like not even, and it might just be an illusion, but still you have like a choice, right? You have a decision, right? There's that thing. But maybe in that state of oneness, in that state of perfect love and joy and happiness, you're so fucking happy, and you're just guided by the flow. Like you just extend forever, in love and joy everywhere in all directions, and it's like everything you've ever that could possibly that you could possibly want, is there, and it never gets old. Maybe that's the case, right? That's a damn good question, though I don't know. You say, that's where you would reject what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. There's not many people. There are not a lot of people that actually believe, in what I'm saying. It's not a popular view, right? Most people either are atheists or, adopt one of the major, world religions on the market, or have like a philosophy they adhere to, or are agnostic, right? Everyone has their own belief set, and mine's been constructed just from a hodgepodge of different sources. I've taken stuff from a lot of the major religions. I've taken stuff from Parmenides. Parmenides was had a major effect on my philosophical and spiritual growth. Spinoza is a badass. Kant I know Aristotle's always given Kant shit, but I like a lot about Kant. I like a lot about. There's a lot of philosophers. I could go on for fucking ever. Hofstadter really, he kind of opened the door for philosophy for me back in the day. A big Hofstadter fan. I think his notion of self-reference and how he plays with it is just, he's just clever as fuck. I'm surprised the guy doesn't play chess. Like, I'm a chess player, and I think he'd be a damn good chess player. He's a good dude. All right, let's see. You say, most people don't consider what we are talking about. Well, yeah, that's true. It's because I think most people don't have exposure to philosophy, or at the same time, most people, there's a lot of people that have 5 kids. They're single moms, and have 5 kids to take care of, right? And they're living in Africa, and they have mosquitoes walking on their eyeballs, right, all day. So, and they have 6 grains of rice to last them a week, right? So yeah, they're probably not don't have time to immerse themselves in deep philosophical thought, right? Here, it just so happens I've had the luxury of being able to do some metaphysics, right? And not just have to slave my life away 18 hours a day working and making 2 cents and being a slave somewhere, right, in some countries, right? I mean, that's I'm grateful that I've been able to have the luxury of being able to have these kind of conversations, right? You say you liked Kant and Spinoza, but yeah, absolutely, and that's why you named yourself that, right? Yeah, exactly. Live a joyful, live that kind of life, right? Live that joyful life. Live that. What is life? How should one live one's life? And that's what you stand for. I mean, at least your name is that. So that's part of what it's about, right? It's part of the condition, right? Lately you're leaning towards no moral truth. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing though. Here's the interesting thing about that. And I'll say a little bit more about philosophy, and then I gotta wind things down. I know I'm like going along, and kind of like everyone else is probably just here for the meditations right at this point. But anyways, so yeah, moral relativism. All right, this is something that a lot of people don't know who don't go to grad school for philosophy. It's not well received in academic philosophy. All right. You can't really, I mean, there's some philosophers that have gotten away with variants of it. All right. But if you start, but a lot of, especially ethics professors, find the notion of subjectivism in regards to moral thinking, just like pernicious to our overall well-being, pernicious to society. They have vile contempt for the idea, and they'll demean you if you pose questions and you say things like, well, hold on, moral relativism actually there's some strong arguments for moral relativism, such as cultural relativism, the fact that in different cultures they hold that certain things are good and bad, or temporal relativism, that in certain times in human history, what one group of people thought was right is now considered completely wrong, right? So like there's some damn good arguments for moral relativistic thinking, but in academic philosophy, it's like a no-no. They don't want to hear it. And here's and they'll even say mean shit to you. Like they'll say, if you bring up something relativistic, a lot of times they'll say, oh, yeah, that's what like freshmen, they say in a very disparaging way, they'll say like a disparaging comment, like, that's what freshman undergraduates think. And it's like, dude, I'm a graduate student, and you're going to like fucking talk to me like that? Like, get off your fucking high horse. Here's my opinion. I think moral relativism is so, is looked at. One of the reasons why moral relativism is not generally accepted within academia is because it would put the fucking ethicists out of a job. There you go. Think about it, right? If you're an ethicist and your whole fucking existence it hinges on that there are some things that are good and some things that are evil, right? And then it turns out that everything just is, or that like, everything's just relative and subjective. What are you going to do for a fucking living? Right? What are you going to do for a living if it turns out that there is no fucking, good and evil, right? If everything just is, right? I mean, you could take like a consequentialist approach, but that doesn't say anything about the metaphysics, right? The underlying metaphysics, right? So like, that's my personal opinion, is that ethicists don't want to hear it because it would fucking put them out of a job, or at least diminish what they do to a certain extent, because they've spent there's some old 90-year-old fucking professor who spent like the last 60 years of his life writing papers about good and evil, and then all of a sudden like I'm coming in and I'm like, yeah, there is no such thing as good and evil, like that doesn't exist. There's just it's everything just is. And things vary from culture to culture and time to time. They don't want to hear that. And you say moral philosophy is the only philosophy you care about. Well, that's cool. That's cool. There's a lot of brilliant ethicists out there, and I'm not saying it's a waste of time. I'm just saying like relativism is just not a very well received viewpoint in academia. At least when I was in grad school, that was the case, and that was 2014 through 2016. So that's just something to think about. And I've done a shit ton of talking. By the way, thank you for asking me some stuff about philosophy. thank you for asking me about philosophy. Like, I haven't done any philosophy, any of that kind of philosophy in a while. Typically, people gravitate towards these streams because of the meditations, and then I just kind of do the meditations because I know I'm able to help people. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah, welcome in. Welcome in. I don't know. I mean, I know I've seen you around Eris's chat before, and I've seen you around Nogre's chat, right? You hang out in Nogre's chat, I think, and also. You also linked the song. Yeah, unfortunately, my fucking bot, Oh, here I know where you can put it. Here, let me If you join my Discord, I have a music channel. You can go in there and just post the link in there because my bot fucking just automatically deletes all links that are put in here unless they're by a mod, I think. So just join my Discord if you want. And there's philosophy stuff in there. We talk about. I'm gonna be promoting Eris's book when it comes out. I believe it's April 24th. I have a lot of my former grad school student friends, that I was friends with in grad school, are now college professors, right? Because it's been like, it's been since 2016 since I was in grad school, since I finished up my master's. So a lot of them went on to finish their PhDs. And now they're actually teachers, they're college professors. So I'm recommending Eris's book for like undergrad, for like a good, fun, playful undergraduate, undergraduate seminar, about philosophy, right? So I'm trying to promote his book. So yeah, so go there, and I think he posted some stuff about it in the philosophy channel. You can give it a like or whatever, and let's. That's cool, man. That's cool. All right, so you say it's got a philosopher you probably know talking over the song. Probably. I'm sure it does. I'll check it out later. Let's see. You say let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream, and you would naturally, as you begin on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all of your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you see, and after several nights, you'd say, well, that was pretty great, but now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. Then you would get more and more adventurous. Yeah, right. And that's what we do as philosophers, right? We come up with these thought experiments, right? Like, can an all-powerful God create a rock, that is too heavy for him to lift, right? If he's all-powerful, he should be able to, and then we create these contradictions and these interesting thought experiments. We delve into possible world semantics. We try to understand things through that way. And whether or not, one could argue that these questions misfire from the beginning because of our lack of understanding. That's one route, right? One could say they're legit questions and deserve consideration. I lean towards the notion that they're legit questions and are worthy of consideration. But there's a lot of people, a lot of philosophers out there that say, no, these things just misfire. They're not even worth our time, right? We should spend our time, I don't know, like advocating for animal rights. I had a philosophy professor who was vegan, and he has spent his whole existence. He was an ethicist, and he spent his whole existence advocating for animal rights and basically trying to convince everyone to become a vegan. And his argument, he's got great arguments on his side. Look at the horrors of factory farming, right? Factory farming is terrible, right? If you've seen these videos, if you've seen all these horrific things that we do to animals, it's terrible. Now, he did convince a third of us to become vegan and or vegetarian, a third of the philosophy staff in the department because his arguments were so cogent, and a third of the grad students. All right, so it's like he's had an impact, right? It's pretty cool, right? I tried it out for a year and a half. It did not work for me. And when I say it didn't work for me, I tried all the recipes, I tried all the different stuff. I felt like garbage all the time, and it's so I had to give it up. But like morally, I do believe it's a better approach, right? Unless we have like a situation where like maybe if like we're eating like roadkill, right? Or animals that are raised in like good environments, and then when they get older or whatever, then they're I don't know, they're humanely killed. I don't know. I don't even fucking know about that. But it's a difficult subject. I know singers wrote about it, quite a bit too. A lot of people talk about animal rights and the different and why we should all be vegan. But at the end of the day, like if your whole life is just if you feel shitty every day because you're not eating meat,
I mean, we all have different body types, right? You know, I do a lot of working out. I work out all the time, and it's like, it's hard for me to like get enough protein and get all that shit I need, you know, via just, you know, eating beans all day, right? And stuff like that. All right. You say, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream, and finally, you would dream where you are now. Alan Watts, he's one of the heroes. Alan Watts is one of the heroes out there. He was the first guy to really bring Eastern philosophy into the Western tradition. In fact, there's a book that I had been reading. I got through half of it, and then like I got like obsessed with like 6 other books, right? But it's called something about the way of the Tao, or I forget what the fuck it's called. It's like one of his main books, right, where he basically brings in Eastern philosophy in a format that is comprehensible to the Western mind, and he revolutionized everything. So, you know, Watts is the man. Watts is the man, because before then, you know, people had tried to make some translations, but nothing was really working. There was like a communication barrier. He was the first to actually make it such that we could actually use Eastern concepts in the Western mind, and we could actually, you know, we had the conceptual apparatus formed to actually understand these ideas, and because that was a major thing. Before that, we didn't even have the conceptual apparatus to understand this. We needed to create a framework for understanding the Eastern mind, and until then, if you don't have a concept, you can't understand something, right? So he was the one that did that for us, and that's pretty fucking badass. He's that. There's a reason why he's a legend. You said you just linked it because it was appropriate. It was an appropriate ideal to what you're talking about, us all as being the same person. Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, and yeah, you know, stop on in anytime. I've been streaming longer than I normally stream. I usually only do like an hour because I fucking work all the time and I'm busy, and I have, you know, I always train. I'm a chess instructor IRL, and I train all the time. Like I got a new chess coach. I was talking about this yesterday in or a couple days ago, maybe in Nogar stream or in someone's stream, either Nogar or Eris' stream. I got a new chess coach, and it's really fucking badass because this guy he was trained by this guy Vara Kobian, who's one of the stronger, you know, one of the strongest chess teachers in the world, actually, and he's a very, very strong chess player, and you know, he's a grandmaster. And this dude, my coach, was trained by him, and my coach is just a few rating points shy of becoming an international master. He's already completed his norms for the international master title, which is one step below grandmaster. And I was watching his stream last week, and he had Hans Niemann beat. Hans Niemann is the guy you guys have all heard about, the anal beads cheater, right? You know, that was the fucking big joke, right? No, you know, he probably didn't. No, there's no anal beads involved, right? But a lot of top-notch chess players are convinced that he was cheating. But regardless, he's still a fucking amazing chess player. He's still a great grandmaster, and he's, you know, one of the top U.S. chess players in the fucking up-and-coming U.S. chess players, right? And his goal is to become the world champion, and he might do it someday. I've been watching a lot of Hans, and he's legit, and he has beaten all the legit fucking chess players. He's beaten the best chess player in the world, Magnus Carlsen. Was he cheating? Hard to say for certain, right? We have no definitive proof, but a lot of people, a lot of chess players think he was, and a lot think he wasn't, right? So who knows, right? But anyways, Hans Niemann was playing in a tournament last Tuesday. And my chess coach was playing in the same fucking tournament, all right? It's called Title Tuesday. They have this every Tuesday on chess.com. They have an early edition at 11 a.m. It's either 10 or 11 a.m. Central Time. And then they have a later edition, the afternoon edition, at 4 p.m. Central Time. So my coach was playing against Hans Niemann. Any titled players can join, right? So he was playing against Hans Niemann in this fucking tournament. He had my coach had 1 second left on his clock, and he had a checkmate. He had a fucking checkmate in one move against Hans Niemann. He saw it, and he moved the queen over. He's dragging the queen to drop it on the square to checkmate Hans Niemann. And because he only had 1 second, he mouse slipped it on the square next to the fucking the checkmating square. And because of the time pressure, he fucking mouse upped it. He had a real quick get that queen over. He was one square over, and then Hans just took his fucking queen. But if he had actually put it on e4 like he had intended to, he would have beaten Hans Niemann. And he's beaten. I mean, this guy. So it's incredible. This guy's beaten a lot of the greats. Let me rephrase that. He's beaten them in blitz chess, which is speed chess for those you don't know, which is pretty awesome. Okay. Anyways. Oh, Tindereos is here. Hey, bud. Good to see you, friend. How you doing, man? What's new with you these days? We're actually just winding things down. Tindereos is a huge friend of mine and the chat. He's just a good dude. Tindereos just brings love and light. You're also a mod of Floppy Jimmy, right? I think that's your thing, right? You're a mod of Floppy Jimmy. And you're always in Eris's chat, right? Because you and him are both Floppy Jimmy mods, right? But yeah, Tindereos is fucking awesome, and I have tremendous amount of respect for him because unlike 99%, you're a mod of 6 channels, which are live now. Dude, you're fucking intense, dude. All right, hold on. Let me copy and paste this. I want to say a couple things about Tindereos. Unlike 99% of the fucking world who just fucking, at night they just go and fucking sit down in front of goddamn Netflix and fucking, or stare at their phone and fucking look at TikTok for hours all day. Tindereos actually fucking picks up books. Have you guys ever heard of these things? I mean, I'm using fucking Plato's goddamn complete works to prop up my mic. What the fuck am I even doing? Is that disrespectful to Plato? I don't even know. It might be. But yeah, have you heard of those things? There used to be these things called books, and people would read them, and they would become intelligent, and they'd fucking learn a lot about the world, as opposed to watching some fucking hack on YouTube talk about why, the fucking moon doesn't exist, or why George Bush is a reptilian creature, or why birds are robots, or what birds don't exist, birds are real aren't real, or every fucking absurd conspiracy theory on the fucking planet, right? Tindereos actually reads books, and I'm not fucking trolling. This is seriously, it's gotten to the point where I literally have to say, I'm not trolling. He literally fucking reads books. This is true. This is fucking true. And he learns shit. Who the fuck does that anymore, right? Everyone else just sits there and fucking stares at TikTok for fucking, 8 hours a day. And, and then their eye movements are getting tracked probably or some shit like that, and it's definitely getting sent. That info is definitely getting sent back to China. But yeah, he actually reads books. And, so yeah, if you want to talk to someone who's fucking actually has some, is a learned man, right? Who's fucking, an intelligent dude who actually cares about increasing his understanding, talk to Tindereos, man. And he does a lot of other cool shit too. The guy, he's a world traveler and stuff like that, just a good dude, man. You said you didn't move to New Zealand because something happened, but then you were going to move somewhere else, and you've been to Germany, Mexico, you lived. You're all over the place, man. You're close to reading 1,000 fucking books. You're 1,000, dude. That is badass, man. That's badass. That's more than I've read, and I'm sure I'm fucking older than you. That's fucking badass, dude. I have read some long books though. One of my favorite books ever written. I'm a big Dostoevsky fan. Have you ever read Brothers Karamazov? If I recommend one book, Brothers Karamazov. It's fucking incredible. It's philosophical. You laugh your ass off. It's just so well written. I like those Russians. I like the older Russians, like Tolstoy. I read War and Peace, right? War and Peace is badass. I love how Tolstoy he talks about people's countenances so much. That's one of my favorite things about Tolstoy. He's so adept at articulating every feature of a person's face. One of my favorite quotes from Tolstoy in War and Peace is, let's see if I can get this perfect. She smiled the kind of smile that one smiles when they think they can see through the other. How fucking badass and insightful is that, right? No one else in the fucking world has ever articulated that the way Tolstoy did. Has actually even probably fucking thought about it. But yeah, it's It's like, and then you think about it, you're like, dude, this person is talking this. It's like, look at the look on their face. You can tell that they're, they got that little smirk, that little like, like I can see through you, man. Like, like I can see through you, right? They got that fucking smirk, right? That little, she smiled the kind of smile that one smiles when they think they can see through the other. It's fucking amazing, right? That's fucking amazing, right? And to bring that out, like, I love that. I love that. You said you just read cheap shit sci-fi. Hey, that's fine. Sci-fi is great. I love sci-fi. That was actually that was the genre that got me into stuff. Like, I'm huge into sci-fi. That's my favorite genre of like relaxing like fucking entertainment. I'm a big fucking Trekkie nerd, but not all the Star Treks. Like Next Generation, Deep Space Nine are my fucking bread and butter. I love those two series. Those two fucking series for me are like fucking heaven. All right, Deep Space Nine, Next Generation. When I earlier on in my life, I didn't appreciate Deep Space Nine until I was like older, and then like actually was like, oh my god, the dialogue is fucking genius, right? And then Next Generation, that's what got me into Star Trek. Next Generation, I fucking love it. It's incredible. But yeah, I'm a huge Trek guy. I read, Herbert's, the first 3 Frank Herbert books, his Dunes. Never read the ones written by his kid. I think his kid wrote the ones after that, right? His son. I heard they sucked, so I just didn't even bother. My best friend, who's a pretty good gauge of what I like, told me that they sucked. No, please, no spoilers. I have not seen Dune 2 yet. I'm gonna go see it probably next weekend. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. A lot of people were very not cool with the first one, but I fucking just kind of let go of all my preconceived notions about Dune and went in there with a fresh mind, and I thought the movie was fucking stellar. I loved the first. Not when I say first, you know what I mean. The first one of this series line, this storyline, right? I'm not the David Lynch one that he took his name off because he wanted it to be 9 hours and ABC shortened it to fucking a 3-hour movie, or the fucking the Jodorowsky's Dune, not that they never made, or the mini series, not even that. Like I'm talking about the one that's out there now. I really like this first Dune that they just put out. I thought it was badass. I thought they did a great job, and it was great. I think people who read a book, like a sci-fi book about something, a lot of times they just get too fucking nitpicky. What it reminds me of? Have you guys? I don't know if you guys are into like some of the old Anne Rice books, like Interview with a Vampire, all that stuff, right? Queen of the Damned, all those old Anne Rice books, right? In Interview with the Vampire, right? In the book, Lestat has blonde hair. Or Queen of the Damned, one of those fucking books. Lestat has blonde hair, okay? And guess what? Stuart Townsend had brown hair in the movie. It was like the biggest fucking, like people were throwing the most insane fucking shit storms over this. The fact that in the book he had blonde hair and in the movie he had brown hair. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You're gonna fucking completely disregard the entire Queen of the Damned movie and say the whole thing is terrible because of his hair color? That's just fucking insane. That's fucking insane. I think people get too nitpicky over that shit. It's like, who gives a fuck what someone looks like in a movie? It doesn't fucking matter unless there's some really important salient characteristic that needs to be brought out. Like someone has a fucking tattooed on their fucking forehead, because they're an adulteress or whatever the fuck it was, and Scarlet Letter or whatever, like shit like that. Of course, yeah, but hair color, are you kidding me? Right? That's fucking insane. That's fucking insane to never give. I thought Queen of the Damned was a badass fucking movie, because I don't give a fuck about the color of Stuart Townsend's hair. It doesn't matter to me. It's like, why should that matter to people? Okay, Expanse. I tried my best to get into it. I thought it was okay. A lot of my friends fucking love the shit and keep pushing it on me and try to get me to continue. I watched, like, I don't know, was it the first 2 seasons? I don't know how many they made. I watched like the first 2 seasons. It didn't do it for me. At the end of the day, there was something about it. It just didn't fucking work for me. I don't know what it was, but it just didn't work. They made 6. Yeah, they made a bunch, right? I got through 2 and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Firefly, I don't know. That's like an old one. I don't know like how old you are, but like Firefly is like an old school one. That's a fucking badass series. I loved Firefly. What else do I really like? What else? Holy shit, I'm having a mind block. All right, I've been streaming too long. Oh, you've seen Firefly? Fuck yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, I have a hold on, Tindereos. Here we go. I have a fuck command. So every time I say it, it's up to you guys to type exclamation FUK. All right, we're trying, because we're only at 8, and that's totally bullshit. I've said it way more than that tonight, right? So yeah. Oh no, we're 20. We're 23. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah. So you got it. You got it down. All right. Good. All right, we're catching things up. We're getting things back on track. All right, but anyways, here's my raid call. Copy and paste this. I love you all unconditionally. I consider you all part of me. So it's like, why? How could I ever like hold a grudge or resentment against you when I consider my ontological stance is that you are part of me. You are one with me in the bigger picture, from the context of eternity, from that foundational standing, from the underpinnings of this pseudo reality. We're all one consciousness, one mind, right? So because we're all that one pure love, because that's what I believe. I love you. I love everyone. All right. Yeah. So anyways, I love you all. Thanks for hanging out. It was great talking with you guys. Yeah, and it was great that you brought some philosophy in here. I don't do much philosophy anymore. It was great. Let's see. But have you taken a look at the Bernardo Kastrup book? No, I have not. But Discord is the place to post that. I would love if you could post stuff in Discord because I forget shit all the time, and I don't have a pen and paper handy. So yeah, join if you haven't joined, or just post it in Discord. Any philosophy can be posted there in the philosophy channel. Let's see who's out there. Is Eris or an Ogre streaming right now? I would love to raid one of those guys. Do you guys know if they're streaming? Let's look. Who's all streaming right now? Who do we got? Oh, they're not. I would love to raid those guys right now. All right. Well, I mean, Floppy Jimmy's got enough people in his channel. All right, I'm gonna raid a buddy of mine. This guy's a yogi. He's a good dude. He smokes a lot of pot on stream. But the main thing is he did something like he did over 365 days of meditations. He on his stream, he meditated and did yoga for like 365 days straight, and he streamed it. And that's fucking badass. That's commitment. This guy's a good dude. His name's Zwar. He's like the most likable guy on the planet. He's into metal too, which I love. And he's just a really good, like the vibes in his channel are great. He's playing Final Fantasy right now. Real good dude. Show some love. We're bringing my community over there. Yeah, we're gonna go over there. So thank you all again so much for hanging out, for sharing the sacred space with me, for talking philosophy. I love you all unconditionally, and yeah, just try to be kind to the people around you. We all have it hard here. Namaste.